Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys are tuning into the Flossie. I'd expand a bit upon your creativity, imagination, and innovation. Everything is created twice. First in the mind, then it becomes reality. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve. So you go out there day after day, do the work. The confidence to put yourself out there boldly, authentically, even though it's success. The creation has not arrived, has not manifested just yet, but you know that the richest place on earth, the richest real estate on earth is the graveyard where dreams and goals and everything like that die along with you because you now have the courage, the philosophy, the frameworks. But that's all going to change because you're going to have the courage, the philosophy, the frameworks, and the go-getter energy. Go out there and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. This is a method, the philosophy, the podcast, the master class known as Create Like a God. This your man, Jaron Mitchell, a.k.a. Jaron Winnie Mitchell. Today's topic we're going to be talking about today is why thinking is not good enough. Why thinking is not good enough, okay? So you go out, what I'm saying is when you think about something, you must take action. You must go out and do it. And just thinking about it all day, you can use all the law of attraction and do all the other stuff, but you do not take action. That's why the law of attraction is the law of action. You must take action, which is the law of the law of vibration. Everything in the universe is created at a certain frequency. Nothing never rests. But you must go out and do something to attract that becomes the law of attraction between your habits, your discipline, and what are you doing, okay? So most people don't fail because they lack ideas. They fail because they stop. They fail because they stop. They stop at the thinking. Okay, they just think and they don't actually do it. Thinking feels productive. It's not really productive. That's the part. That's the organization of your thoughts, and where you got the 13 steps towards riches, which is the organizing of planning. Right? Planning feels safe. Yeah, you got to plan it. You over here planning stuff, but when you don't take action of your plan, you don't execute. Execution feels dangerous. It's the feel of criticism and everything like that, right? One of the six ghosts of fears. Comfort lives in thought. Growth lives in action. Okay. Yes, the comfort in the thought, right? That's why when the criminals, they you think about the criminals, right? The criminals, they actually think about doing. Police can't arrest somebody, the person who's thinking about it, right? Who's thinking about doing it, unless they commit the action, unless they commit the crime. Then they have evidence of that crime, which they could probably have planning and other evidence against it because people, they write about it, they write, and they have journaling and all that other stuff, right? So they have evidence, or they about to commit the crime or something like that, right? They have evidence and all that they were about to commit the act. Okay, so it can be used against them. So along with that, you look at yourself. Okay, you must take the actions. Okay, the actions of making your idea into reality, which is a positive idea. No, not the idea that violates to our fellow rights, to our fellow men, women, and children. Okay, so we all have an abundance of life, abundance way of thinking. And this is where we gotta just why thinking is not good enough. Thinking, you just think about it and you don't do it all day. You just think about it, be lazy. You think, you analyze, analysis paralysis all day, but you don't actually commit the action. You must commit the action. You must take the action to actually make your dreams, your goals, your vision, your idea into reality. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. It. Why is it not good enough? Okay, why is this not good enough? And in these, there's going to be a point here. Let me review my notes. Okay, why it ain't good enough, and what actions we're going to take. The actions we're going to take. We talked about it in this. That we talked about it here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to these points. These points I'm going to be talking about on today's episode, all right? Point number 1. Today's episode we're going to be talking about today is why thinking is not good enough. Point number 1, ideas are worthless without execution. There's a quote from Napoleon Hill, I believe. A dream without a deadline is just a wish, okay? And there's also a quote from, I think it's Thomas or Benjamin Franklin. There's a little note. Execution and energy conquers all things. Okay, so ideas are worthless without action, clarity without sounding dismissive. All right, ideas have potential. They have the potential to make something happen. That's why you have the organizing plan. You get your thoughts organized and everything like that, and you make something happen. Okay, but you can get organized, but you don't actually come up with the plan and actually learn from those plans. Like Thomas Edison, took him 10,000 ways. It did not work for him to create the electric light bulb. And I mentioned, Benjamin Franklin had that quote with think it was either Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Edison, which is persistence of energy conquers all things. Okay, execution gives ideas value. Okay, they give it value. If you actually execute, you actually make it happen. You can get feedback. Okay, this didn't work. Okay, let's get into feedback. That's why you gotta fail fast. That's like we're gonna have an episode why you should fail fast. Why you should fail fast. Don't worry about. Don't have the feel of fail fast. Learn from your mistakes and move on to something else. Okay, the world does not reward thoughts. It doesn't reward the thoughts. The thoughts is to plant the seeds. You got to nourish the seeds. You got to nourish the thought. Okay, you got to water the thoughts every single day. In your mind, it become a mighty forest of positive thinking, positive thoughts, and you can pull out the automatic, the ants, which is the automatic and automatic negative thoughts, which is the ants. You can pull out the weeds, out the thoughts out that's hurting the actual good thoughts, which is a seed that can actually grow to a mighty forest and a flower to a garden. You can say, right? So, and the world rewards movement, the law of inertia, the law rewards those who in movement, those who actually take action, the law of inertia, momentum, to actually take action, actually do something, right? The key idea, okay, the key idea is ideas don't change lives. The execution ideas do. Okay, so you can have the idea all day, but you don't execute it. It's going to go right back to the ether, right? And somebody else going to come up with the idea, and they're going to take the action. They're going to have that follow through when you go in and follow through when you finish. That's why you must have finished your works, have finished works. Get in the habit of finishing. Get in the habit of executing your work to finish the idea, to finish the goal. Okay. And if it does finish, it does get a setback. Okay. Why did it get a setback? Learn from that setback. The idea wasn't sound. Okay. And get right back to the drawing board and go right back into taking actions. There's something with Napoleon Hill. There's a lot of ideas that we have in today's age when a lot of things it does not sound. It does not make sense. Okay. It does not make sense. What does not sound? A lot of things it sounds. A lot of things I can say that's controversial doesn't sound, right? We had the whole stuff, right? That stuff sound. A lot of that stuff is made up, right? It's the same thing with the red pill space, right? The whole manosphere space, right? So you have the same, it's the same kind of some of the same ideology. Not want to say same, but it's symbol. Somebody just made it up, but it's an ideology, right? So you have the whole gender stuff, right? People, they believe is multiple genders out there in human beings, right? No, it's just man and female. That's it. It's just male and female. That's it. That's just, you got the XY chromosomes, right? And it's all that, and people making all these genders up, and they believe in there can be a man, can be a woman can be a man, or they can be a turkey or an animal, whatever they want to believe in, or two-spirit penguin, whatever, right? Controversial topic right here, right? So you got that side of on the left side, right? On that side, which is crazy, the delusional side, right? Then you had the right side, or I don't want to say it was right, I don't know, it don't matter, left or right, whatever, right? Then you had the red pill space, right? Or the manosphere, right? So this, if you actually I dug deep into all this, right? So the red pill just mean the truth, okay? So for me, it'd be like for Islam, right? Islam is the truth, right? This is just how I look for religion. We're talking about religion right here at that point. But for me, I look at done the research, done the Islam. Islam is the truth, the true religion, right? The true religion. That's what I believe in. Some of y'all gonna disagree. That's fine. Some of y'all gonna believe it's Christianity. Used to be a Christian, but some of y'all gonna believe it's Christianity. That's fine. Okay? But let's go through the red pill space. I won't say really much red pill. The red pill just mean the truth. That's all basically red pill is. It is the truth. The truth cannot be half the truth, part of the truth. It's just the truth. Okay. Then you have the blue pill. It's basically inspired by the Matrix, right? Which is that you live, I think it's ignorance or lack of knowledge or something like that. Ignorance, right? So you have the living, so you have all that, right? Then you have these people have the purple pill, the yellow pill, the black pill, which is more of the misogynist misogyny type of side of the manosphere. People that are men are losers. They're the black pill. They blame women. They blame all this stuff. They believe the chads and all. It's all bull crap. Those are the true people that women and even men should be aware of. The other losers, those are the ones you should be aware of, are the dangerous to society. I look at it, right? So these people made these little other pills up. It's like, bro, it's just the truth, or you live in the truth, or you live in falsehood. That is it. Okay, there's not no purple pill, yellow pill, black pill, all this other BS. It's all that shit's just made up, right? So the analogy is supposed to be, or the metaphor is supposed to be the pills, right? You taking the pills and all the others, the red pill and the blue pill, right? It's just inspired by the Matrix. You got these people just made up other stuff. It's like, bro, what's going on here? What is actually going on? Okay. So we're gonna actually have episodes why how ideologies also play into fact and how they're created because it has to do with creativity. And I'm losing my point right here. But I get it. I remember now. So it's basically things that are sound, right? So things are not sound. Does not make sense. Okay, so you have opposite sides, basically. Same thing with a little bit of feminism and the opposite effects of people think it's the red pill. I don't think it's the red pill. I think it's something. It could be the manosphere space is the opposite. That's an equal opposite reaction. But at the end of the day, is made up. It's not really sound. Both sides have these little things. It's not sound. The ideas are not sound, and that's why they keep doing things or thinking of things going over and over again. Definition of sanity, expecting different results, and they come up with a negative results and not actually thinking that something is sound. So again, that's going to be disagree. I dug the rabbit hole. I dug through it all. This both sides. I dug through the rabbit hole and all the other things, and both sides do not make sense. It's either male or female, or you live in truth, hood, or falsehood. Pretty much, you live in the red pill is basically the truth. So you cannot kill off the truth. The red pill space, which is more of the men, but you cannot kill off the truth. It doesn't have to just be with the red pill within the manosphere. It could just be red pill anywhere else as well, right? It is basically the truth. Okay. So again, the truth is everyone has ideas. Very few people act. Action is the real filter. That's how it makes your ideas into execution. If you do this, think about it, all ideas are just worthless without execution. You must execute. Okay. That's one of the reasons why why thinking is not good enough. And again, it has to be sound. This is something with Napoleon Hill's work. I read a lot of Napoleon Hill stuff. It has to be sound. The idea, whatever it is that you got, has to be sound. That's why you got faulty things that end up creating that does not make no sense. It is not sound. And you got people go through ideologies and they live through this life and they're living through falsehood. They're not living through the truth. Okay, let's go ahead and get to point number 2. Today's topic we're going to be talking about today is why ideas are worthless without why thinking is not good enough. Actually, I'm sorry, my apologies. Point number 2: everything is created twice. Saying in every single episode, everything is created twice. First in the mind, then it becomes reality. The anchor principle deeply. First, the creation was in the mind. You're thinking about the mind. Think about it. We think between 80 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and it goes to the subconscious mind. And a lot of us just do things subconsciously. We're using the subconscious mind against us, and it's not for us. Okay, that's what a lot of us do, and I think a lot of that has to do with mental health as well. That's just my opinion. And also with all the other pills, and we looking and watching other stuff. People think on social media, mental illness, and they have these get negative thoughts that planted in our mind. That's why we must have instructs ourselves to control and put positive thoughts within our mind and see the ideas. You can see negative, like the news and all. There's a lot of negative stuff, but you must control your mind. If you do not control your mind, someone else will. If you do not put into your subconscious mind what you want it to direct and control when you want to put it to, or aim where you want to put it to, you will be used by it, or somebody else will use it, or you should use it. Okay. So again, first is the mind. Second is the reality. So you must plant the seeds within the mind, and the more you think about it, the more you get into subconscious mind becomes reality, because the subconscious mind does not care what is true or false, and it becomes into reality. Okay. Visualization without action is a fantasy. If you just visualize all single day, visualize the fantasy or visualize the idea that you have, but you want to have into reality, but you do not take the actions, it's just a fantasy because you just sitting there visualize it, it just become a fantasy. You actually ain't putting it into action. Okay. Thinking is the blueprint, action is the build. Okay. It's the blueprint. That's all the blueprint, right? You're thinking, you're using the subconscious mind, using all the ideas, the plant your seeds in your mind. And now is the discipline part. Now is the habit part. Now is actually building character and all the other stuff. It's all starts in the mind. Okay. Then when you slowly get into the mind, then it becomes habit, because we are the dominant thoughts of our mind. Okay, the habit of thoughts. We think about a habit every single day. We are the dominant thoughts of our mind. If you see your reality right now, is because you got yourself there. You put yourself there. What can you do first? The first blueprint is changing your mindset. It's changing your mind, changing your subconscious mind, and planting the seeds into controlling your subconscious mind and using the law of autosuggestion. Okay, Without the second creation, nothing exists, nothing changes, nothing grows. Okay. Again, everything is created twice. It becomes in the mind first. You have the thought. Okay. Then you go out there and you take the actions to make it reality. Okay. So it's a little process. Listen to other episodes. We talked about this. Okay. So again, and that's the reason why, thinking is not good enough, because if you just think about it all day, the creation, which is the action part to make it to reality, you have to make it to, at first is the thought is created, then you have to go out there and make it to reality. But there's a lot of stuff in between that to make that action plan into reality. Okay, let's go ahead and get to point number 3. Today's topic, what we're gonna be talking about today is why thinking about it is not good enough. Point number 3, take massive action. Okay, you have to take massive action. There's 4 levels of actions. Okay, you can take no action. Okay, you could take, you can go do retreat. You can go out and do it and you retreat. Okay, you gotta take that. You about to take the action, but you go on retreat. You can do the normal level of action that everybody think that everyone does. That's probably the most dangerous, because it's normal level of action. You take actions, but you don't really think. You think you're doing something, right? But you got to take massive level of actions, 10x actions. Okay, so this is the core command of this episode. Basically, the core command of this episode right here. This is a core. You got to take massive action. Stop waiting for clarity. Stop waiting for confidence. Stop waiting for permission. Go out and do it. When you go out and do it, you're going to be scared. You're going to get uncomfortable. It's going to suck. Like these podcast episodes, right? They probably suck. A lot of them are going to suck. They're not going to be edited. Edit's going to suck. A lot of other things are going to suck. Your art is going to suck. It's refinement, stakes of refinement every over time when you creating your own style, when you're working on through that, right? Take action. How are you going to get better? How are you going to improve? How are you able to have mentorships? Okay, get a mentor to help you take the action. Okay, you did this wrong, X, Y, and Z. You getting feedback, even your own feedback, experience. You experiment. Be like a scientist. Okay, so action creates clarity, not the other way around. When you take the action, you may think, okay, you may think of one way, then you take the action and you realize that faulty thinking that you had before. It may not be like, whoa, okay, I thought this way, but now I'm taking this action. I'm learning. I'm getting feedback. Okay, let's go another way. Let's take another plan. And then you upgrade a level. You get your level of thinking, and you get it to its sound. Like Thomas Edison, took him 10,000 ways. It did not work for him to create the electric light bulb. Okay, to perfect it actually. Which a lot of the stuff he can use it to condense it, and I mean all this other stuff, he tools and all that, and use it for light bulb, which he got bought the patents and stuff for it, and he put everything together, and boom, there we go. Okay, so key mindset shift. There is no right or wrong. There's only feedback. You're getting feedback. There is probably some wrong and right. You don't want to do something crazy where you lead yourself to jail. Okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a criminal, right? So you gotta go against with the law. You don't want to violate the rights to our fellow men, women, and children as well. But if you do, okay, that wasn't right. Get back. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Feedback gives direction, adjustment, and growth. Okay. Inaction gives doubt, fear, and stagnation. And I've been through this, man. You ever think about it? You about to do something and you don't do it, and it just brings up the fear even more. You feel stagnant. You don't do nothing. You get doubt. Hey, I felt the imposter syndrome. I felt it. I've been through it, you guys. I'm dead serious. I've been through it. But the more actions you take, and not even that, a lot of people there've been people messaging me, and I'm like, man, I can't believe people actually learn it. There's people's watching, people are listening, and they're going to hear it. They're going to probably wonder, hey, what's going on? Hey, I like your podcast, like this. I get it. I get the messages, man. So that's why I need to keep on going, have a consistent basis. And this is the vision every single day for the Create Like a God episode podcast, and for other episodes as well, for the Jaron short stories and Game Dev Secrets. There's going to be another one specifically for comics as well. I'm going to be getting. So we're going to actually have those onto these. I think I'm going to put it onto the Create Like a God. There's going to be a Create Like a God podcast channel as well, but you can also listen to it on the Jaron short stories and the Game Dev Secrets podcast as well. Okay. So along with that, you guys, you got to take these, you got to take actions. You got to take action. And if you don't take action, taking no action, you're not going to make things in reality. If you go out on retreat, you're not going to make things into reality. You take normal actions. You may get some things reality. You may put some things in reality, but it's not going to be in the high levels and faster if you take 10x massive action. And this is from the book, The 10x Rule, from Grant Cardone. Okay. Uncle G right there. Okay. So we got these 3 points right here. Short little episode. We're 20 minutes in. Okay. So these tie things together from the thinkers and the doers. Okay. Thinking is passive. Okay. Action is creative. Thinking, you can't say it can be creative because it comes in, but if you just think about it all the time, become analysis paralysis, okay, now it becomes passive because you're not actually taking action. You're just thinking about doing it. Oh, I'm gonna think about do this. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. How many times? Oh, I think about it. Think about it. I think about it. I think about it. But nothing actually happens. Okay. So creativity follows commitment, and creativity follows commitment, and commitment follows creativity. Okay. So you're gonna be committed of making this stuff happen, or you're gonna commit it, or you're just gonna think about it all single day and don't be a scientist and actually get feedback with your science method of I forgot it. The scientific method. There we go. Find scientific method to actually get feedback, learn from it, and you log input and output and go back and do it again. And bam, learn it again, set the plan, organize the plan, back and go back and do it again. Okay. You think you don't think you're your way into life. You act your way into one. Okay. So and here, this is your actions for you guys. Okay. And with this something. Okay. So what ideas are you protecting instead of executing? Okay. And what would happen if you move on it today? Okay. Or stop thinking, start building, and let reality teach you. Okay, let's go ahead and recap today's topic. We're talking about today is why thinking is not good enough. Okay, most people don't fail because they lack ideas. They fail because they stop at the thinking. They don't actually take action. Thinking feels productive. Planning feels safe. Execution feels dangerous because of a lot of this. One of the six ghosts of fears is the fear of criticism. Okay, and there's also long things with that: the fear of criticism, fear of death, the fear of ill health, and all other stuff, right? But mainly the fear of criticism, this part, I believe, right here, most of this part of the six ghosts of fears. And I'm actually gonna have an episode now of why the six ghosts of fears holding you back from your creativity. Okay, comfort lives in thought. Growth lives in action. Okay, that's how you actually grow, and you get new levels of thought, new level of thinking because you get think back, you get you get data. Okay, so point number one: ideas are worthless without execution. Whether without sounding dismissal, ideas as potential, execution gives ideas values. The world does not reward thought; the world rewards movement. Okay, action favors the bold. Okay, be bold out there. Okay, be bold in your actions. Don't the world doesn't honor the timid; they honor the bold. Okay, so ideas don't change lives. Execution ideas do. Okay, the truth is everyone has ideas. Very few people act. Action is the real filter. Okay, and again, if you do not take action, it will go up to the ether, and somebody else will end up having an idea, and they will get the chance to go out there and take the action if you do not take the actions at that point. Okay, point number two: everything is created twice. Anchor is the principle deeply. First creation is the mind. Second creation is reality. Most people stop at the first creation. Visualization without action equals fantasy. Thinking about the blueprint. Action is the building. And without the second creation, nothing exists, nothing changes, nothing grows. Point number three: take massive action. There's 4 levels of action. There's no action you take. There's the one you take the action, but you retreat. There's normal level of action. A lot of us do normal level of action. We take the action, think we're actually doing something. That's probably the most dangerous ones because we think we're doing something. But hey, you got to take to the 4th level action, which is 10x massive action. Go out there and take the actions. Okay, you will actually get the momentum going in, even though it may be the wrong actions. Okay, but you can course correct that action. Okay, so those are the 4 levels of action, which this is the core command of this episode. Basically, start waiting for clarity. Stop waiting for confidence. Stop waiting for permission. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Okay, you can get clarity by taking action, going out and actually going on them calls, actually doing the work and going, those masterminds. You can actually get clarity from all that as well. Okay, the key mindset shift: there is no right or wrong. There's only feedback. There could be some wrong levels of thinking, not sound plan, but if the sound ain't planned, the plan doesn't actually hit, that means you must change and adjust and getting feedback. You're getting data. Okay, so there could be some wrong in that. But actually, no right and wrong. When you go out and do something, you actually collecting data. That's why there's only feedback. You're getting feedback. So okay, not to do this, not to do that. and you're getting feedback. Okay. And if you want to get more, accelerate that, get a mentor, get a mastermind group, which is one in the 13 steps towards riches. Okay. Feedback gives direction, adjustment, growth. Inaction gives doubt, fear, and stagnation. And thinking, the thinking versus the doing. This all ties in together. Thinking is passive. It could be if you do not take the actions. If you don't do nothing, which actions is creative, and the thinking can be the creative because that's the blueprint first. Then it's the created twice, which is first in reality, but you're getting feedback in between, and that's how you take the actions, and then you're making some reality. Okay, and execution is where faith meets and works. You don't think your way into new life, you act your way into it. Okay, and what idea? And again, this is an action set for you guys. What ideas are you practicing instead of executing? So think about it. What are you actually ideas you got, and you're not actually executing? You ain't actually taking the steps to execute and get data, get feedback from that. Okay, and what would happen if you move on it today? Take 90 days, get a plan, take 90 days and see how far you go. Okay, and stop thinking, start building, and let reality teach you, and let others teach you. Again, a a knowledgeable person will learn from their mistakes. A wise person will learn from others' mistakes. All right, folks, is not where we at, it's where we come from. Always create like a God. You're the master of your fate. You're the captain of your soul. You're made in the image of God. So that's why God gave you a brain to think for yourself. Take full possession of your own mind, and also worship the one true creator, which I believe is Allah. And also, which I believe is Allah. And peace beyond all the prophets, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, and Moses. Peace be upon all the prophets of God, which I believe, because I am a Muslim. And always create like a God. Talk to you guys tomorrow. We're going to have some more episodes later on as well of why I reverted to Islam and why Islam makes sense to me. We're going to have a little bit on this episode. I was going to have it separate on my YouTube channel. But you know what? Let's have it on the Create Like a God podcast. I'll put it on there as well. We talk about it on the Create Like a God podcast too. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. And that way on YouTube, you can go ahead and you see it. Subscribe to the channel. So that way you can get episodes of the Create Like a God podcast every single day, and everything else on my YouTube channel. If you're just listening to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else, make sure you leave your mans a 5-star rating and review, so that way we can move up the rankings of the podcast, even though I got a little bit behind the podcast stuff in recent years of 2019 since I created in 2019. But go ahead and do that. If you're on Spotify, you can comment as well. And hey, go follow the poll. Make sure what you guys think with the poll, whatever the poll shows up, you get it right here. All right. And again, always create like a God. Talk to you guys tomorrow.